for whatever reason, since I began writing, I've loved to write about family. From Gilbert Grape on, I've just been writing about family. Even if it's not family, it always becomes about family. It's the one thing we all have in common. We have families, and sometimes we've had to make new families, and sometimes we hate the family that we come from, sometimes we love them, sometimes we feel both. And I think I just wanted to make something urgent and necessary, and someone I loved died, my most favorite actor in the world died, my niece, who has blue hair, is in the film, almost died. And we're just living in such a divisive and frustrating moment in time. And I thought, well, what if I quit everything that I'm working on and I just put everything into something that needs to be really special and maybe helps be a part of a bigger conversation. So that's what I tried to do.
Julia, Peter described you earlier as the mother of mothers.
Sorry.
I am the mother of mothers. Obviously the mother-son relationship is the center of this film, and I'm wondering if you can just talk a little bit about what you drew on for the role. She needs a mic.
Well, first of all, I just have to apologize for what you're all going through right now. We feel you. There was no drawing upon anything other than, and Peter wrote such a clear, thoughtful essay on this family that it was really about just absorbing that and then taking in each other, taking in one another. And I like that they made theater as cold as it was in the winter in New York. I thought that lended to the excitement. It was really something that, for me, ultimately, just looking into Lucas's pained eyes was all I needed to do to transport myself in the exact spot I needed to be in. So I was very lucky that way.
You mentioned Lucas, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but he's your son and you directed him in this amazing film, and I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about what that experience was like for you and how you two worked together.
Well, first of all, I wrote the script never believing he would be in it, because he'd been pretty clear he'd never wanted to be directed by me again. After the thrill of working on Dan in real life and having to do his one line about 12 times, and about the third time he said, "Do I have to do it again?" I said, "Yes, you do, that's what actors do." And anyway, I think it almost ended everything for me. But what happened was when Julia responded and I spent time with her, she was very clear that she would love him to do the film. And he was supposed to be doing the play at the time and would not have been even available, but that play went away and he suddenly was available. And thank you, Julia, for reaching out and finding a way to suggest that he do that. And I think the thought of working with her and then also knowing that once he read the script, I think he felt that we had to really talk about it and think about it, because it's a very odd thing and a potentially horrible thing for a son to have to work with his father. But it was an amazing experience. I'm sure it was odd for everyone, but I think it was just a we just wanted to tell the story, and everybody here, and Lucas included, just did everything they could. They brought their A game all the time to try to make this feel real.
I'm going to step in, Peter, because
That's the voice of God.
I'm going to step in, Julia, because I had no idea that was your son. We were talking, Peter and I did the press today together, and there was about, I think it happened, we went to dinner or something, and that's when I found out.
Yeah, a few days in, we're shooting now at dinner.
And I don't know how I missed that, but it's kind of important. But I was, once I found out, I was literally, and still am, in awe of how, and we talked about it today, that little gap of where you call your father by his first name and not Dad. And that how you all made that leap for us so that we could feel comfortable as a crew, cast group. And I will always be indebted to you for setting up the world for us to be able to do that. That was, as I told you afterwards, that was life-changing. And I know you say, you know, I felt that I failed, you know, my son or us sometimes. You gave us the world, and I thank you for that.
I just have to step in because I just want to tell Courtney something, because I don't know if you know this, but Emma Roberts is my niece. I don't want that to take you by surprise. Somebody found her name. Just so you know, just get it in your pocket. Okay, sorry, back to you.
David, your character has such a pivotal role in the film, and I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about what you did to kind of research and prepare for playing that role of an addict, and also somebody very close to the family but not in it.
So I'm not a superstar, so it's kind of hard for me to get into those places and talk to certain people because, you know, you're like, who's that guy? You know, are you doing a movie? You know? But I was very thankful for Richmond University Medical Center at Long Island. I got to see some babies with neonatal abstinence syndrome. And I was fortunate to see them and touch them. And they were stiff, their legs were stiff, some of them were shivering. They can't scratch themselves when they were going through withdrawal, so they rubbed their feet together. I spoke to one of the moms over there, that was tough. I'm glad that she spoke to me. But I think that's what made it, for some reason, click for me. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I have no say in it, so.
There's a real sense in the family in this film of a really lived-in quality, and I'm wondering if the three of you from the family, Courtney, Kathryn, and Julia, could speak a little bit about what it was like to work with each other, and how you helped to create that atmosphere.
Well, Miss Roberts over here, she had us all over to her house, all of us, and we just sat in her living room with her dogs, and we went through the script, and even when it came to that singing part where I had to sing, she was like, okay, go ahead. And I had to do it right there in her living room. She's like, okay, you'll never have to go through that again. So I wasn't nervous on the day. And it kind of just set the tone, and while we were filming, the story is so heavy, but we always tried to have fun. I mean, we had dinner in the lobby and had hamburgers and just kept it light, and I think that really carried us through. So, thanks. Courtney took so many amazing pictures. You have to put them out. Or they're for us, I don't know.
Again, the world was set up by Peter. And we really just, because it was so thick on the screen and on the page, we found a way to just, when we were together, just be together. And, you know, all of us, the children, their parents, you know, everyone, the crew, we just, and it was cold, so we had to huddle together to stay warm. But thank you, Peter. Thank you, Julia.
Did you want to add anything to that, Julia, about what it was like to work with them and create the family that you had?
I don't. I mean, it's just way too intense in here right now, so I make jokes to make myself feel better. It was so, I mean, after what you guys have all been through, it was really a natural amount of fun that we had making this work, which is really the only way a family works, is to try to steer your ship through the rocky times with an unnatural amount of fun. And I think we're all very well cast in our energetic heart space being aligned, and it was just the good fortune, the great good fortune. And I'm so terribly impressed with how you taped it all together, Peter, because that was I don't think any of us will sleep well tonight. Thank you, and thank you.
Just one final question for Peter. There's a real sense of urgency to the way you tell this story, and having structured it over a 24-hour period, and maybe you could just talk a little bit about the choices you made to create that.
My mother, I want to talk about that.
Peter cries a lot. It's not just right now.
And if I don't cry, people become disappointed.
Run for the exit because he cried. Is there one?
But my mother, when I left my house when I was 7, and I didn't really know her as a sober person until I was 15. And when I got to know her, she was remarkable. She was amazing. She saved so many lives. She used to take me to these meetings, these AA meetings, and I went to a bunch with her, hundreds, in fact, over 22 years. And in that world, it's a day at a time. And when I knew I wanted to write about a mother like my mother, who would go anywhere and do anything for her child. And when I knew I wanted to write about the people in my life I know who've, even if it's not drugs, if it's crime or depression or any myriad of hardships, where they feel lost and they don't feel that they have value. Like Ben says, I'm not worth it. All the people I know who feel like they're not worth it. To watch a young person in this story try so hard to turn it around, to say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and that belief. But then it was this. So it was this one day at a time, but then I kept reading in my research, because I researched this, I wrote this very quickly, but I researched it and thought about it for a number of years. I kept reading obituary after obituary after obituary. And what I kept hearing in these stories repeatedly were people saying, he was doing so good. She was 6 months, she was 8 months, she was 2 months, she was 3 years. He went 12 years, and then something happened. Something triggered, something tripped. And they just didn't get through that day. And, there are a lot of movies coming that are in a lot of literature and a lot of the discourses about how we help each other and how we move in the world, and how do we not throw away people? How do we keep trying to save them, even though, as Beth says, we can't save them, but you'll hate yourself if you don't try. So I thought about my mom, I thought about all the people she helped, but I kept coming back to that day at a time. And I thought, this is too big. It's too big for one movie to handle. It's too big for me to handle. But I think I can do one family. And I think I can put them through one day. And I just wanted it to be as true and as real and as authentic and as impactful as it could be. And I had the very good fortune that Julia said yes. And that she convinced Lucas to do it. And Courtney said yes easily, and David came, Kathryn came, and everybody came, the people that are here that worked on the film. It's just one of those rare instances where it happened because it's bigger, not it, but the story in this project's just bigger than any of us, and we just came in service. So I thought I could do one family, one day. I couldn't do 2 families, 10 years, or that was too much. But I thought if we could do this exquisitely, and there might be some use for it. Hopefully that will be proven to be true. Thank you all so much.